somehow I have been invited to the Wicked for Good premiere in New York City, but instead of wearing this, I am going to be walking the carpet and designing my own dress. But first, hey guys, my name is Mackenzie and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I take you on the behind the scenes journey of my latest cosplay projects. Today's video is not cosplay, it is an original design that I've created to wear to walk the carpet at the official New York City Wicked premiere. I don't believe it either, but it's happening. Let's spend the next 2 weeks whipping up this dress that I designed and wear it to the premiere for like the best day of my life. If you want to see how I made this Glinda bubble dress, I will link it up here and in the description below because that video is already out. That is probably the reason why I got invited to the premiere in the first place. I don't know, I'm scared that they're pranking me, which would be like the absolute, my worst fear. My design is really inspired by bubbles and roundness, visibility of the structural pieces that you wouldn't normally see on a garment. I'm also using sheer iridescent, like almost plasticky fabrics, which might make me really sweaty when I'm wearing this, but I'm imagining that I'm gonna be really sweaty just from being like so nervous the whole time anyways. I think that covers what I'm going for. Let's see if I can actually execute that because we're going off of a sketch, not like an image that I can have a bunch of references for. Let's talk about the supplies. Because this is the most important dress of my life and I have a quick turnaround to make it, I headed into New York City to Mood Fabrics to see the fabrics in person and make my choices. I spent so much time deciding on the color scheme for this. I knew I wanted purple, pink, and bluish periwinkle, but I couldn't decide if I wanted the top of the dress to be pink. We're inspired by Glinda, so your instinct is pink, but I am myself a purple girly, so I ended up going with purple. Although this video is not sponsored by Mood, the fabrics were gifted for a short form collaboration. And this is just absolutely a dream partnership, so I can't believe 2 dreams are coming true at once. The stakes feel very high. So the skirt and bodice are going to be a sandwich of 4 different fabrics. I also have like a little bit of lore with these fabric choices because I bought all of my fabrics for both the purple and pink bubble dress at Mood, and I wanted to bring those fabric choices into my dress because it's just like a fun Easter egg for me. So this fabric is a somewhat sheer purple sparkly organza, and it's the purple version of the pink fabric that I used for one of the layers of my pink bubble dress. The story behind this fabric is that this is the discontinued fabric that the Broadway show actually uses for the blue bubble dress. It just looks like soap to me. Like, this is a bubble. On top of that is our most structured piece. Very stiff organdy, which is also iridescent. I was going back and forth in the store. I absolutely could not decide between a pink top layer and a purple top layer. Obviously, this is my favorite color. Slightly more lightweight organdy so that this can sit on top. And while I was at Mood, I picked up a couple more things. So here's our horsehair. This is a 4-inch transparent horsehair and it's very stiff, which is what I was looking for. And all of these ribbons. That's all the supplies, and we have 2 weeks until the premiere, so let's immediately get right into it. Because there's no room for error with the amount of fabric that I got, we're making a mock-up. I have gone through several iterations to try to get the flounce that goes on the side, and here's our final piece, which is flat across the top, curved on the edge, so that when I put it on the bodice, see? What? That felt like a lot of geometry, but this is what I was going for, right? And then the skirt will come out and it accentuates like snatched looking waist. Straight line on a curve. I kind of learned this from the sleeves on the other one. Okay, I have this leftover organdy fabric. It's the same as the new ones that I got. Sorry, let me just catch my breath from going up 2 flights of stairs. And since I have the top patterned out, I want to also mock up the bottom because I have one shot at cutting this skirt with the fabric that I have. Because unlike Alphabet's Future, my fabric stash is not unlimited. Can't decide if I want to do a skirt that like hovers over the ground, which will be infinitely easier to walk in, or do I want to train? Alright, I think I have some purple. And I do have some purple left. I only had enough for half of a skirt mock-up, but I think it's gonna get the vision. Based on how everything is hanging now, I think a full circle skirt will work with the high-low effect. Now that the mock-up is mocked and suspiciously going okay to this point, let's make sure that the draping looks okay and isn't totally see-through, because if it is, we have to figure out what sort of butt covering is happening. I don't want to be perceived as scandalocious. I ran into the same problem with this last time in that I love this fabric, but it is 45 inches, not 60 inches. Our soap fabric, our soap suds. This is just straight bubble fabric. This is crazy. I don't know which ones are gonna go where. This is a super big tangle. Now that I've confirmed I like my colors together with the fabric, I'm layering on all of these ribbons to see if I like it. And I think it's too much with everything, so I took out the bright pink and the bright blue, and we're just gonna go with these three and then a satin purple. Okay, here we go. It's time to cut the fabric. I took my mock-up apart and traced it out onto every single layer of the fabric. And each piece is going to be a layer of all 4 fabrics as a fabric sandwich that I'm going to then assemble. And it's gonna be thick and structured. But maybe stiff and structured was a bad idea when it comes to boob cups, because I was forcibly tailoring this on my mannequin for hours, and I eventually got somewhere I liked, but it didn't fit correctly, and it was just looking a little bit scandalous. I spent most of yesterday trying to make this bodice work, and I think that under all of this ribbon that I've placed over it, a couple things. One, it's starting to look very lingerie, which is not what I'm going for, especially because I'm so worried about the sheerness of the dress. I don't want to, on top of that, look like I'm wearing, you know, like a sexy corset. The boob cups, I finally got them to work, but I don't know. They're uncomfortable. So what I'm gonna do is I made a new design for the top. Just gonna do an over bust corset. Like if it's flat, like whatever. After a quick mock-up, I followed the same exact cutting procedure, made the sandwiches of the fabric, put it together, and just tailored it, and it was infinitely faster. Okay, this looks so much better. I don't know, it's hard because I don't know what the end product is gonna look like until I make it. I've never done it. I've never had that before. So let's put some ribbon. Before I commit to a plan for the ribbon, I decided to put all the structure in. So I just took really skinny sew-through boning and sewed it right onto the seams and top stitched it down so it would stay in place. I really couldn't decide what combo of ribbon colors I wanted to do. I decided against this bias tape because it was matte and the rest of the ribbons were satin. And I ended up not doing the pink, even though these colors were giving Sailor Moon vibes to me. That is the wrong universe. So I went the purple color scheme in the end. I'm so disheveled right now. I'm like a sewing lizard. I have been like feverishly working on this to get it done because this is a crazy deadline to put on myself. And I didn't realize how long it would take for me to sew all of these ribbons individually on. So in these side pieces, I did a ribbon as a bias tape here on the edge, so that from the side, it's nicely finished. This is gonna have the blue over top of it. I was having a hard time figuring out what color scheme to do. I really wanted to use the pink because I was like, it's Glinda, do pink. So I think that this color scheme is better and matches the new bubble dress a little bit better. My next order of business before I can attach these is to line it because it's a little see-through and there's nothing covering this area. So we do not want that to be see-through. I got a stretch satin, and it's like actually the perfect color. I'm gonna cut out the most haphazard sweetheart neck. This is the plan for the pattern. It's always 50-50 if the fast and loose method is going to fail me. Say that 5 times fast. I just had to record that so many times. But this time it didn't. I sewed in the lining, attached my side pieces, had a blessed seam, and then did upstairs neighbor activities to create a corset back, sewed that in, and here we are at the try-on. I have a try-on. I was worried that these were gonna stick out too far, but I think it's actually perfect. The goal is to make my waist look a little bit more snatched by having this effect here. And here's the back. I have to fix the top, but I just wanted to make sure it worked. Good thing I don't have a lot going on up here because... But from the front it looks good. This is the sound it makes. It's made of plastic. With the top done, we can now use the bulk of the fabric to make the skirt. I just laid out the patterns that I made and made sure the short side for the front and the longer side for the back were on the fold because I don't want to have a visible seam in the front or the back. And now it's time to deal with the issue that one is 45 inches and the other is 60, so I needed to add extra to make them the same length. Now that I have all my skirt pieces cut out, I am going to do a French seam because they're all sheer. Can I even do a French seam on something that's round? I'm gonna just try to figure that out now. My brain was not firing on all cylinders at this point, but I'm just making a French seam up the sides, which are straight, so obviously we can do that. And I added extra fabric to the purple one that's too short by doing a French seam of just another straight piece along the edge. I accidentally made the closure for the left side, which is my good side. I'll be posing this way, and I really hope you can't see it. What I want to do is put the waistbands on next, but I think that that's dumb because I need to be able to do the ribbons and bonings on the top one, and it'll be easier if they're not all attached. And I think the French seam that I had to do to lengthen this purple one actually works. This was a gift for future me problem because I knew that this fabric was 45 inches and all the others were 60. And I was like, you know what? I made it work last time, I'll figure it out. I made the waist way too big and I already French seamed. I could pleat the front and the back. This is what I get for using loose mat. I think that'll be perfect. The pleating is gonna be good. Okay, gorgeous. I'm gonna lay them all out with the purple one on the bottom and make every skirt 1 inch smaller than the purple one is. So I have to lay everything flat and then trim it. And then once I do that, I will do a serged hem on the edge and then attach my horsehair. Doing the skirts was so much floor work, especially because I had to make 4 of them and they are massive. I'm like starting to be just naturally shaped like Gollum. But my pro tip for adding horsehair that doesn't have one of those pulling strings that makes it tighter, I don't know what that's called, is to do a serged hem on the edge of the skirt and then line up the edge of the horsehair, pin that down, but as you're going, make sure that you keep pressing it flat with your hands because you might have to manipulate the plastic of the horsehair a little bit and the weave to make sure that the bottom part also lays down because sometimes it gets a little wavy and wonky if you don't make sure that it's absolutely flat against the fabric the entire time. Okay, all the skirts have been draped and all the horsehair is sewn in. I am going to now be adding the ribbon embellishments to the top skirt only. I think that I probably need to add boning to the bottom of all of the skirts underneath this because I don't want the top to be super structured and the bottom to just be like hanging down flat. I want it to all be the similar level of structure, which means I think I need to add boning to all of the skirts. Okay, let's put ribbons on this. It has to be perfectly straight, which is concerning. If I could go back in time and give myself one more recommendation, I would say find your walking foot because I sewed through my finger from forcing these heavy skirts along with this sew through boning. I mean, it's just like, I'm just like shoving it under there. Okay, made progress on the skirts. All the boning is attached. However, blood warning, I sewed through my finger, so like with my machine, so we're gonna be done for the day. Moving on from that injury that somehow still hurts 2 weeks later, I started measuring out where I want all of my ribbons to go, and I was really worried about making these straight on the top skirt. But luckily the skirt is see-through, so I just used this grid mat underneath and follow the straight lines. Slight problem. I can't really sew down these stripes on the skirt because they get all wonky, and then if I undo the seam, it like rips the organdy fabric. So I'm now panicking and exploring other options. This is the glue option. I'm afraid because you can see the glue. Like, look at that. I'm going to try a third option, which is like a fusible interfacing. The crisis is averted, however, I have to wait for more of this to arrive in the morning. I found 3/4 inch fusing web in my stash, and unfortunately I need about like 3/8 of an inch to go under these because this is way too long. There shouldn't be any of this goop once I get the smaller one that will fit under all of these, and it's invisible so you can't see them on the other side, and when I hold it up in the light, you can't see through it like you can with the glue. But now since I'm waiting on that to arrive tomorrow morning, the time is ticking and I really have to hope this works. Fingers crossed. I guess my finger gets a little break. My fusible interfacing to attach all of these ribbons was supposed to come between 7 and 11 a.m. I paid $3 for Amazon to deliver it, but now it's arriving hopefully before 3. So I'm stressed. And also yesterday I made these shorts in a frenzy. They're terrible. They couldn't possibly make my butt look any worse. And it's giving diaper because I decided to put in a gusset because it was way too tight. I ordered these little shorts to possibly wear under it, but they're like athletic. And I would really love to wear these shiny ones. They just look terrible and I really don't feel like remaking them. But while we wait for the fusible interfacing to come, I did order this little purse and I'm hoping it's the right color. It's so gray. It just looks gray. It's supposed to be purple. I hate color theory. I was gonna put ribbon on this, but now I fear the color is bad. This is not what I need. I really would just like it if like one thing I ordered came on time. You know, when you're waiting for something to come and you're just like stuck in waiting mode, that was me. This finally came in the mail right after I pushed order on a same-day delivery Michaels order. This is a 3/8 inch fusible webbing, and I'm gonna do a test piece before I attach it to the full skirt. So fingers crossed that this works. Because I spent all that time making sure that these ribbons were straight, my procedure to insert the interfacing was to remove a couple of the pins at the time and then iron it down in sections, and it actually worked. And because I had to use a low heat so I wouldn't burn through the organdy fabric, the fusible webbing was not super fused, so I ended up going over with a stitch anyways because I didn't want them popping off at the event. Okay, that method worked. The ironing on actually kept everything in place, and the walking foot made it so things didn't get wonky when I sewed it down, because just the iron on, it was popping off left and right. It's just a mystery what this is actually going to look like because it's only in my brain. I have all of the vertical stripes done. I have to do the 2 here, which will be so easy because this is stiff, it won't move. 2 more ribbons down here, 1 here, and 1 on the edge of the horsehair. And then this part's gonna be annoying, is the 2 additional stripes that go like here. So that I'm probably gonna have to iron down as well. I'm getting nervous to see if this is actually even gonna look good. Same rules apply for this one, but I used much more of a fast and loose method. I just had this little measuring tool with me and ironed along as I went. And if it's not perfectly aligned, it's fine because the skirt has so many folds. And I just would like to note that it takes me 10 minutes to go around this skirt one time, so each of these ribbons took 20 minutes to sew on each. Okay, I'm starting to assemble the skirts together, and this is just so big that I'm hoping they're the same length. I'm gonna assemble the 3 inside skirts together. This is just the bottom 2. And then before I sew the top layer on, I wanna pin it and make sure that it's the right length with then the bottom like showing out. The whole sewing of this project is taking place mostly when it's night, anytime after 5 p.m. because the sun decides to just give up at 4 o'clock. So I'm sorry for the terrible lighting on this project. I'm like a little sewing gremlin in the night, going up and down because there's no room in my house besides in the kitchen to lay this all out. But I tried it on and it was kind of working. The vision was working. I had to do quite a bit of finagling to make all the skirts the same length and shape because somehow the pink soapy one ended up like weirdly way longer than everything else. But then I pleated everything and tried it on, stabbed myself with a bunch of pins by accident, and I was ready to go in for a closure. Which obviously I had to bring my sewing machine down to the floor to do because this skirt is so heavy, but luckily it doesn't give me back injuries like the original bubble dress Glinda skirt did to me because I dispersed the weight a little more evenly with a wider point of contact on my hips. 2 things. I have to go to New York City tomorrow. We're almost done with the skirt. I got my nails done this morning and we were able to work around the sew through the finger injury. It took 5 coats of this, but it's like the exact perfect color scheme. The other news is that I sewed the bottom pieces so they actually stay together, but I can't get out of it like by pulling it down. I have to exit through the top. I really made this skirt so snatched. It's coming together! Somehow I got all of that done, and this is the day that I had to go into the city, and I'm just loosely gluing some ribbons onto this silver purse to try to make it match the outfit. And then into the city we go for one short day in the Emerald City, aka the best day of my life. Here's the reveal. What? me my Hulk strength. If you can't tell, I was not the one to originally bring this down the stairs. You take a good grip. My suitcase and I have been home for 4 days and I still haven't opened it, which is a testament to how many travel size products I have because I've been able to survive without opening this for a week. Well, let's see how the dress held up. Please be okay. I tried to pack it without bending the boning, and I think maybe success for the top. Moment of truth. The bar was serving espresso martinis that night, and now so is my dress, so I'm going to use these Clorox wipes to clean it up while we do a wrap up. The good news is I think it only got through the top and maybe the second layer. So what the heck, guys, how did that happen? I'm having trouble processing that actually happened, and I'm also starting to run out of life goals. I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped support me. I want to say thank you to my friends who joined me at the event and to Universal for inviting me. Also support from my friends and family to get me to this point because making this dress and working full time take a lot out of. So especially to my boyfriend who like keeps me alive and makes dinner and helps clean the house. I just couldn't do it without my friends and family. Obviously I have seen the movie. It is amazing. I have no notes. John M2 knocks it out of the park, and if Ariana and Cynthia don't win Oscars this season, I will riot. Let's steam her because she's crinkly. Hello. Overall, it is so insane that this happened. I still haven't really processed this yet, and now I need to figure out what my next goals are, because this dream was on the vision board for 5 years and I can't believe it's actually come true. I also can't believe that this came out mostly how I envisioned it. For my first design ever and something that's like really complex, I am so proud of this. I love it. I like want to wear it every day. I want to wear it to my wedding. I'm obsessed with it, which is the ideal outcome for something that I designed, because normally with all of my cosplays, there's at least one thing that bothers me and then I have to critique because it doesn't look exactly like the source material. There is no source material. This is just up here. So maybe that's better. Maybe I should keep designing my own costumes. I mean, obviously I'm never gonna stop cosplaying, but maybe I should throw in a couple more like custom designs like this, because what the heck? But I guess that wraps her up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so thankful for you all being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more cosplay content, because we are about to enter the Holly Jolly season, and I do have one more cosplay up my sleeve for the year. I could just look at it forever. Okay, thanks, bye.